Welcome to the Wedding Songs Podcast, featuring newly released songs you need to know and the tried and true classics. Get song ideas from the time guests arrive until the last dance of the reception. And now your host, Matt Campbell, founder of MyWeddingSongs.com.
Welcome, everybody, to the 95th episode of the Wedding Songs Podcast. I am Matt Campbell, and today you guys are going to love this. I have DJ Freddie B all the way from Virginia. Go ahead and say hi, Freddie.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing?
Awesome. Thanks for being here today. And I'm going to start off this conversation like I do with all of the other interviews, and that is, can you tell everybody about some of your memorable wedding moments?
Wow, memorable wedding moments. All right. One was a friend of mine asked me to DJ his wedding in Atlantic City at the Borgata. I actually got to go there, and it was a very beautiful spot. It had a little private swimming pool, and they put all the tables around the pool. The pool wasn't covered. You got to pay extra for that, from what I understand, but it was beautiful, and just the scenery. Plus, these guys were a lot of fun. So a lot of the songs they picked and the way they came out, they were just hamming it up to the point where one of the groomsmen came out in that T-Rex outfit, and oh my goodness, it was just such a ball. Just the experience alone, especially with people I know and had friends, it was really cool. Now, there was even a cooler part, but I missed out. So during that time, we just finished the ceremony. Now it's a transition going up to the reception hall. Well, during that time, I had to pack up my gear that was in the ceremony. While these guys started going to the reception part, they actually ran into Charles Barkley, who was there, and took pictures with him and everything. And because I went back to pack up my stuff, I missed out going with them, because I definitely would have been with them, because I've known this guy since like 5th grade or 6th grade. But yeah, I missed out on the Charles Barkley thing, and Charles was so cool from what I heard, and they took a picture with him and everything. So that was the cool part of the experience of Atlantic City.
It's funny you say that, DJing a friend's wedding. I always find those are typically one of the worst, because you know everybody there and you have to work. So I always find those to be some of the worst. But the one thing that you did say is it's a party atmosphere. You know that they're ready to party and have a good time. And I think that that's one of the great things, like you said, at that particular wedding, that makes it really fun.
Oh, absolutely. And for me, I'm that type of guy. One, I'm an energy person. I really believe in energy, and I feel I have a talent of creating energy with people because, hey, I want to have fun, and I'm the party leader. I got to represent. I got to bring my energy, and because of that, everything kind of falls in line with that kind of mindset. When I apply that to people I know, right? I know that they know where I live. I know they can always find me. So it's kind of like, for me, a competitive thing too. I want to knock it out. I want to crush it for them because I love these guys. And the people I love, I work for the most. Now, I apply that to the way I do. So when I do book clients, part of my speech to them, and it's legit, is at the end of the night, this is not, hey, have a nice life kind of thing. I'm friends with all my clients. We're Facebook friends. I want to see you grow old together. I want to see you guys have babies, see families. I really believe that the way I carry my friendships in this client business helps me stay on my toes, helps me deliver an awesome experience for them because I love what I do. So
that's exactly why I wanted to have you on the show, because of your passion and because of your energy. Exactly what you said. I'm like, I have to have this guy on the podcast. And you're the 4th one to be on the podcast. So that's how high you rate.
Oh, I appreciate it. I already told you the first time I met you, I've been following you forever. It's just so amazing how it's such a small world. But, I found your site one day as I was searching for ideas for a client, and I was looking at it, I was like, man, this site is amazing. And then all of a sudden, it just became part of my routine that, hey, if you have any questions, especially after planning, I tell them, hey, you don't need final answers. But during this, I'm going to give you all the options, all the ideas. And then at the end, if you're looking for suggestions because you can't figure out stuff, I got this great website that you can check out for all sorts of different events of a ceremony and a reception. And it was all laid out, professional, boom. And for the longest time, I'm recommending, this is part of my spiel. I'm recommending you should check out the site. You should check out the site. And then one day going to DJX and then seeing you there, oh, that was just, it was amazing for me because I appreciate all the work that you've ever done on that site. It's such, for me, a blessing to have such a great resource. And it just didn't pop up. You've worked that, and I benefit from that. Clients benefit from that. So thank you. Seriously,
Hey,
like, thank you.
thank
Sorry.
you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a long work in progress. That's why I wanted to shine the light on some people in the industry, and you're definitely one of those. Enough about me. Why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about you and your company and how you go about weddings?
So I'm a single op. Basically, it's because I have a full-time job, I do this on the side. But I don't treat it like a side business. I'm really into this. I don't advertise. A lot of my business is word of mouth. It all started for me really because I love to dance. I love to dance. And the one thing better than if I can't dance is making people dance. So that's how I kind of got into it. I was always that one guy even from growing up. My dad used to have a Michael Jackson LP, the Thriller album. He would take that to different people's houses because in the Puerto Rican culture, when we go to somebody's house, we're always dancing, partying, and he would take that and I would dance Billie Jean, have a little Michael Jackson session. And that's how my dancing started. Then somewhere I stopped dancing and didn't learn how to dance again until like I was in seventh or eighth grade. And I had some friends who started me getting me into that. And then next thing you know, that became my true passion. I love to dance. So one day later on in life, I'm working at Sprint, and then I have my boss at the time. She had a husband who opened a DJ business. He said, "Hey, I think you have a great personality. Would you want to come and work for me?" I was like, "Man, I would love to, but I don't know how to work that or do any of that." He's like, "No problem. I'll teach you." And I became kind of his assistant and learning the wedding industry. That's mostly what we did. And I loved it. From the minute I'm a server, I'm a pleaser, I'm a selfless guy. When it's wedding time, it's a team effort. I tell everybody, it doesn't matter how well I do. If I do great and you don't do good, the client still has an okay experience. I want all of us to shine. I'm willing to let people know up front, hey, give them heads up. We're about to do cake over here, photographers, just letting you know. That way you can set up, get ready. And I have a lot of referrals from venues and photographers, videographers, because they know if I'm there, I'm going to do my best to do whatever I can to help the team win. It's not just about me. Trust me, there's a part of it is about me, but there's a bigger part that is about the team because it's a team effort. A wedding, it would suck for me if I had to deal with a bride who was really distraught because something happened with the photographer that they messed up. And then I have to feel some of that vibe and I might have to even work harder to bring it up. Team
Yeah,
effort.
your passion really comes through. I think that one of the things that I always strive for is having happy clients. It doesn't matter what it takes. You just have to make sure that they're always happy, they're having a good time, because in the end, what are they going to remember? Them and everybody at the wedding is going to remember if they had a good time.
Absolutely. It's about the wedding experience. That's part of what I tell people. The wedding experience with me. From the minute I book you, we're definitely going to have two meetings. One's a planning meeting. I'm going to give you all the options available from the way intros to the bouquet and garter to the cake to even the ceremony. It's not my place necessarily because again, I'm not stepping on toes. So the efficient should be the final say. But nowadays, they're having friends ordained or such, and the friends need help because they have no idea that, at least in this area, that after you kiss, you are then turned around and presented as Mr. and Mrs. to your guests. Some just see it on the movie, they kiss and the music comes on and then they walk out. So just little details like that. I'll recommend, all right, so how many people in your party? How long is the distance? You might want to think about one or two songs instead of one. especially if you have a song that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds and you have 10 people, that might not work. Little tips and tricks I do in the planning meeting. And then as we get into the grind of wedding week, we have one more meeting, dot the I's, cross the T's, and then it's showtime. So that's that part. Then during that time, I'm getting their music, getting all set up. And then showtime, big day, smiles, energy, life. And then, hey, let's go, let's party. And that's the experience.
Awesome. So since you brought this up, are you seeing in your area couples that are still doing the bouquet toss and the cake cutting, or those starting to fade out?
Actually, those are starting to fade out, but I'm one that I like to be different. And it's not necessarily different, but the one thing I pitch to couples, I'm like, what about instead of inviting just the ladies, what about if we made this, I'm inviting all the ladies, because whoever catches this bouquet is going to win Susie's favorite bottle of wine or favorite whatever. And now you have everybody. Now, this is for pictures, really. Everybody's going for the bouquet. And trust me when I tell you, there's no sidestepping this. People will go for this. Then, example, the bottle of wine, you make it, maybe it's your favorite winery. Now you have a personalized thing you can talk about. The groom for the garter. You know what? If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to go under and take the garter off. We can just skip that. You like football? Yeah. Okay. What's your team? Well, let's say it's the Commanders. All right. Maybe we get a soft little football. You put the garter around that, and we have the garter toss. And then whoever wins, same thing, all the gentlemen out. Whoever catches this will win his favorite bottle of liquor. And his liquor, now it's a story. Oh, you like Black Label? I love Black Label. So that's how I get them to kind of think before you say no, because most of them are ready to say no. And I know that. But I like to give them this one option, because who knows? There might be people that would think, hey, having somebody win something at my wedding is different, it's cool, and it's personalized. It's not just random.
I love that. It brings everybody into the wedding day instead of, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, there's only 4 people on the floor that are trying to catch the bouquet and they're all under 10.
Yep. So here's the thing too. There is one caveat that I always say when I'm announcing to the guests on this special thing we're gonna do. And I always mention, hey, if you're under the age of 21, you choose your adult of choice if there's any liquor involved. Just in case there's any youngins, and there have been. And it's cool when they get to show dad or show mom, this is for you. It's like, yeah, good kid.
Or just have a plan B. Maybe you have a second bouquet that you give the girl who's under 12, or maybe you have something else for them as a
As a
token
second,
of winning.
yeah, very good idea. I'm gonna have to implement that for sure. Think about that. Awesome.
As a backup plan anyway. Talking about playlists, do you commonly get do not playlists for your weddings?
I do. I do get do not playlists here and there. The biggest thing for me and my clients, one of the things I like to advise them is focus on the things you like. Focus on the things you really want to hear, because the more I know about that, the more I can fill in the gaps to make things transition smoother. Now, with that said, of course, I want to know the ones you absolutely don't want to hear, but definitely try to stay focused more on the stuff you do like versus you don't like. Yes, I do get it. And it's usually the same type of songs. Those songs are, for example, like the chicken dance, maybe the Macarena, maybe some of the goofier ones. But what doesn't work for one works for another. Sometimes it's the YMCA, but with this crowd, oh, the YMCA is definitely on. And for me, again, I'm an energy person. So what I like to do to be different, I'm not just behind my console. I'm very interactive. I go out on the floor. I'm dancing with you all. I feel like I'm very good at prompting. So we all know the chorus of songs. And then I like to lead the charge in. All right, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Stuff like that. And it just makes people, again, it's just creating more energy. The more people are shouting, the more people are just acting silly in that way, the more people enjoy themselves, be like, wow, this is cool. This is cool.
Coming out of their comfort zone, that's what you're great at, for
Yeah.
sure.
Trying to build that space where you can.
Perfectly said. Talking about what's getting everybody out on the dance floor for your area, there's certain music that's popular in the West Coast, popular on the East Coast, could even be East Coast, North, South. So what are you seeing that's really popular right now as far as music goes?
I think I'm in a good area where it's very diverse and there's all sorts of music that everybody loves, the 2000 bangers, the 90s bangers, both pop and hip hop. I think those are really coming on strong because of the age of the bridal party. As far as new stuff, Cruel Summer, Morgan Wallen stuff with Last Night or Broadway Girls. Oh, definitely some of the hip hop. It's
Cool.
the younger ones really are the ones that want that, but they can't necessarily have it because I have to find a fine line of satisfying my younger crowd, which I'm there to do, but also respecting my older crowd, which is watching the younger crowd, meaning like school dances, which I still do because I love the energy of kids. The energy of kids when they're having a blast is even sometimes more than adults having a blast. These guys and that energy itself. And so I want to please these kids. It's always finding a good balance of playing the right songs. And if I can't play the right songs, maybe I drop a little instrumental beat for a bar, just give them some nuggets. But I also love line dancing. Some people hate line dancing. I love line dancing. Why? Because it's another interaction point with me and the guests. I love leading them. So don't be scared. If you don't know how to Cupid shuffle, come on out. I'll show you how to do it. To the right, 2, 3, 4, to the left. And some of the things that I'm seeing too is ones that really have been working for me. The throwback for them is Baby by Justin Bieber. That seems to be super. And then I would say Hollerback Girl. Every time I throw that on, that is a girl anthem, anyways. But especially lately, when I'm throwing that, that just seems to really get things going.
Exactly what you're saying, the newer stuff versus the older stuff. Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Now we're trying to
Yep.
just get into that newer stuff like Hollerback Girl and other newer girl anthems. I think that that's important to know those hits.
I know for a fact that now Taylor Swift, all the songs, whether I'm playing You Belong to Me or whether I'm playing Love Story, those two especially, these are the girls that grew up with Taylor. They love those songs, and those have been big hits. 2000s pop has really worked well lately just because, again, the ages of people getting married, the nostalgic of it, and with newer songs, as fun as it is, you got to bring some of the old generation with it. So if you're not figuring out ways to make it vibe, then you're not capturing the whole audience. You're just capturing the younger part. Whereas Rita Ora, was it Fatboy Slim,
Mhm.
Praise, I think
Praise
was the
You.
remix, which
Yeah.
kept the
Yeah.
energy, the truthfulness of the song, but added her flair to it. Those kind of things I really believe are the now, the what people want, because the older crowd, I consider myself, since I'm almost 50, to be part of that. We want to hear our stuff, but we're cool hearing your stuff too. So let's have a fusion of it, but keep it more to the original versus a total remix. To me, I want to feel that original in there, but you can do your spin, but just keep that original sense.
Just like a Little Boo thing is exploding right now with the remix
Oh,
of
yeah.
Best of My Love by The Emotions.
Yep. Yep.
That
Exactly.
and David Guetta, I can't tell you how many things he's remixed that just blew up.
Yep. Especially now with the I'm Good, I'm Blue. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I'm going to go on a tangent here a little bit.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you tell me
Mhm.
a little bit about a typical Puerto Rican wedding and maybe how they're different than a
Mhm.
standard traditional wedding?
Wow. Well, I would say you're definitely going to hear more salsa, merengue, bachata, reggaeton, stuff like that. Definitely. It's more festive. You know what? That's not always true. It's not necessarily more festive because most of the weddings I've done is here, right? So I haven't done any over there. So I don't know the true sense of the culture of how weddings are done over there. But when I do weddings over here and I know the clients are Puerto Rican, then I tend to definitely pick out more Puerto Rican vibes, more local artists that fit Puerto Rican culture, like a Gran Combo, which is a Puerto Rican salsa band versus just any other salsa band. I stick to more stuff that they would recognize. Maybe some some old school stuff, old school salsa stuff for the older crowd. It has a slower pace than the newer salsa stuff now. But I don't necessarily feel there's a difference except for the music selection.
Thanks for answering that, because I was just thinking in your area, what would be the differences? So that's interesting. So the people that are listening, if somebody comes up to you and they say, I want a salsa song, what song are you going to put on that you say, yes, I'm definitely going to play one or two of these songs?
For me, is Vivir Mi Vida.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a salsa song. It is, but they have Mark Anthony has a pop version of it
Okay.
that's up tempo that you can match up with dance. But the actual salsa ones that I enjoy is Micaela is one. I can't remember the artist that sings it off the top of my head. And there is this one that Gran Combo Brujeria, which I love.
What does the typical itinerary look like for a wedding in your area? So are people getting introduced and then going into the first dance and then eating, or are they skipping a lot of the traditions? What are you commonly seeing in your area?
So commonly is intros followed by first dance. To me, one of the biggest reasons is because this is the time where all eyes are on you. Eating appetizers is the same as eating a dinner. They've been drinking a little bit, socializing, but they come in and this is the first time that it's really like it's about to be party time. With that said, everything's focused on that moment. To me, it makes a natural progression to go into the first dance because once you feed people, once you get them comfortable, they tend to forget things. Sometimes you might remind them that, hey, after here, we're going to have the first dance. But then they go to the bathroom, they go out to smoke. Even though I make announcements, they might not be there in time to catch it. And I can't wait for them. I can wait for certain people, parents, certain people of honor, of course, the bride and groom. But others, they'll suffer that moment. That's always my fear of having it afterwards is that. But I've done it before. But in this area, we tend to do the first dance right after the intros, go into the welcome, blessing, then dinner. Towards the end of dinner and that 45-minute mark, we'll do toast. That way we can use some of the time left over of dinner where people are mostly done. We can use that for toasting. And that works to me real well. At that hour, we're done with everything. We're done with that toast and dinner. So now we go into the parent dances. From there, open dancing. And then we dance, dance, dance. We do about 45 minutes of dancing, maybe an hour. Then we have cake. And then at that point, cake will either be personal cake that they cut with sheet cake in the back, or maybe personal cake with cupcakes. Or nowadays, they might just feed each other little buntinis. It's like little pound cakes. And they might feed each other that. I've seen some different, one did a donut, a donut exchange. That was cool. For the most part, once that's over, then comes, if they're doing it, Bouquet and Garter. And then if they decide to do an anniversary dance, maybe that. But after that, it's just dancing, dancing, or the second half of dancing. This is where dancing picks up. Most of the time, the first part of dancing, I try to be more old schoolish just to make sure I give my older folk something. I want everybody coming in or going out with something. I don't want to alienate anybody. And there's a place for everybody in there. So I tend to save all the better stuff for later, especially if it's more ratchet, more inappropriate. There's a place for inappropriateness, but the people have to know where it is and I can't play it from the beginning. I could. I will warn you that's probably not the best place to do it. Hopefully, I can dissuade you, but in the end, you are my client, and I'm going to go with the way you want for the most part. I can't just play explicit music from the get-go the whole time. Like that's just not going to work. Even though you might want it, I would really stress just think about not only about the things you want to hear, because man, I can play all that stuff later, but your grandma, we can definitely take care of her with some 60s or some 70s. And then maybe your parents, maybe they were down with some 80s music. We can do that. And now you just took care of them, their guests. And then later on, after we cut that cake, we can get down and I can definitely be more conscious of all those hits. And usually when I say like that and propose it like that, I get a good response. I don't get too much push with people really wanting to hear Explicit all the way out.
You don't have to say this. I'll say this, that if a client was telling me that, I'd be saying, maybe I'm not your DJ.
Yeah, yeah,
If that's what you
exactly.
want, because this is a reflection on me as
Mhm.
much as you. Sorry. Have a nice
Yeah.
day.
The one thing I agree, there's certain things I will do. I'm not as anti-explicit as
Mhm.
long as it's basically towards the very end. Or if maybe one explicit song here, but most of my music is censored. And
Mhm.
it's censored because I like the song. I don't like necessarily that it's blanking out every 5 seconds, but hey, I do want to have it. So just in case I do have an opportunity to either play a segment of it or please a client that, hey, I don't have the explicit, but I do have the censored one that could be played in public. I could do that at least for a little bit. There's always a middle ground where we can do. But like you said before, though, ultimately, not every person is my client. Not every person is a good fit for me, as well as I'm a good fit for them. So this is the benefit of, for me, of being, I guess, AKA a part-time DJ. Clients are interviewing me, but I'm interviewing them too. I don't necessarily need the gig. I do this because I love it. I really do. Like I have a full-time job. I make good money, but I love DJing. I love spreading energy. I'm in love and happiness territory. I mean, everything just, I love this. I love suiting up. I love the pressure. This comes from my competitiveness. I was very athletic when I was younger. So I love the challenge and the intricacies of what a wedding brings. And I know I'm kind of feel like a doctor that if I do my part right and I do everything I need to do, I can give this couple back something special. Doctors give a life back. And for me, I give a memory back that they can remember forever.
Speaking of that energy, is there any unconventional or non-standard hits that you're seeing that is bringing the energy to the dance floor that people would be surprised? Yeah, I remember that song, and then you get that hair sticking up because everybody's going crazy.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, especially lately, and I guess you could thank TikTok and Reels for it, but the "Gimme Gimme" song, the ABBA "Gimme Gimme" song, like people when they hear that opening, that's the one that's been surprising me. Like, wow, like these guys are really getting down to that. And hey, whatever they want, they get. For me, I'm also a DJ that I'll take requests. If anything, I want requests. I want to know what you're dancing to. If I see you dancing out there, really having a good time, and you come anywhere near me, I will tell you. I want to thank you for being on that floor and creating such great energy. If there's anything that you would love to listen, I'd be honored to play it for you. And usually that gets them more excited. And man, now they're one of my advocates out there, one of my soldiers. Again, I love making people dance. I love seeing people happy, the smiles. Even the kids, they're all suited down, looking sharp, but they're doing this little break dancing, butt slide. And it's the cutest thing. I love weddings.
One thing I just have to say about that as well is I tell every wedding couple that if the wedding couple is on the dance floor, everybody's going to follow suit. The worst case
Oh, totally.
scenario is when the wedding couple is one's over here, one's in the bathroom, and nobody knows where they are, and nobody's dancing because nobody knows where they are. They don't know what to do. Whereas if they're on that dance floor dancing, everybody else is going to follow suit.
Oh,
So
totally. I agree with that 100%. And that's something I actually tell my couples in consultation in the planning meeting. I'm like, okay, so what kind of wedding do you want? Because if you really want a dance party, I'm just letting you know that if any of you guys are not dancers, that could be a lot harder. Because, for example, and not saying that every wedding is like this, but the guests are here for you. And if you're out there chilling outside, either smoking or just because, again, you're not a dancer, you're just out there away from the dance floor. The guests are going to be near you. They want that opportunity to at least, if they can't talk to you, at least be near you. So if you're over there, they're over there. So if you want a dance party, you need to be on the floor. And if you're not a dancer, then at the very, very least, anywhere you go, dance through the floor. I always tell them, anywhere you go, just make an appearance, dance through the floor, get to the other side, and boom. I've had a couple of grooms that took me to heart on that. And I know they were surprised on the reaction because it's simple. People are not used to seeing you dance, and you do dance, they're going to flip out, especially like
Yep.
dads. Dads are the best. Dads are those guys that you would never think until they're out there, and it's just like, whoa. And people eat that up. So
That is a golden nugget right there. Golden nugget tip. I love that. Just to close things out before I tell people how to contact you, is there anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't cover today?
I would encourage DJs, um, definitely be more interactive. And it doesn't mean interactive, meaning having to go out there and lead line dances and this and that, because that might not be your thing. That's fine. But there is an energy when the DJ is out on the dance floor that when people turn around, they see, oh, hey, you're out here. That's cool. So even if you don't dance, what I always recommend, at the very least, they go out to the dance floor and check their listening levels. But as they're going out there, like I tell the grooms, just kind of dance your way over there. Listen, make sure, you can even pretend, listen to make sure everything's okay, and then dance your way back. And you're out there for 10 seconds. But that 10 seconds, if people see you out there with a smile dancing your way to, they can't help but just like, hey, and they get excited about that. Especially, I mean, for me it works because I'm a very personable person. I'm smiling a lot. I want them to see that, hey, it's okay to be smiling and silly because this is the environment. Be respectful with it, but definitely let loose.
I'll even go off of that a little bit to say, if it's not the DJ, a lot of companies will have a MC DJ combo.
Oh
And
yeah.
if the DJ is not, then the MC better be doing that just to be more interactive and getting everybody involved.
Two-man crews for sure. It should definitely be that kind of synergy. Me being a one-man show, I don't have that necessary luxury, but there's an energy when DJs get out on the floor. And if you
Right.
guys can find a way to do it, even if just to check your speaker levels and get out there and just smile, I would definitely encourage that just because again, we're the party leaders. We're supposed to bring the energy, the smile. And if we're just being blah, it could be blah. If you at least given that effort, whether it's blah or not, nobody can ever say that you didn't try. There's certain songs that are played here regionally.
Mm-hmm.
One, Virginia Tech,
Oh.
Metallica, Enter the Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
That is, if you hear that at a wedding in Virginia, it makes sense. Most likely they're probably from a Virginia Tech fan. What else? The go-go music is a DC music that's like doing The Butt by EU, or Let Me Clear My Throat has a go-go beat in it. Salt and Pepper have some songs with some go-go beat in it. And then the one we just talked about.
The Hokey Pokey.
Yeah, the Hokey Pokey is another Virginia Tech thing. So there's
Oh.
two songs for Virginia Tech. Enter the Sandman and Hokey Pokey. So yes, I played the Hokey Pokey, and sure enough, people came out, and you bet that there was some Virginia Tech parents or people that came out and enjoyed it. But it just turned into something, and that's what I love. Is one of my favorite things. Again, this falls in the wedding experience, is creating moments for my couples. The more I know about you, of your likes, especially your likes, then I can tailor personalized things. I can suggest personalized things to you. I can look for those kind of things to add to, hey, photographer, a moment. I'm about to throw the Hokey Pokey. We have a lot of Virginia Tech fans in here. They actually something might actually happen. Be ready. Stuff like that. Just creating moments.
Great way to end that segment there. If people love your energy, they love your passion, how can people contact you?
I'm a single up and I don't have a website, which is one of the things I'm going to change soon. But I do have a business Facebook page, and you can find me at DJ Freddie B on Facebook, or Freddie Boris, Freddie, B as in boy, ORRAS, and that's Junior. Freddie Boris Jr. is my Facebook profile. We can start communicating that way.
That is fantastic. Thank you very much, Freddie, for being on the show today. Everybody that's listening, make sure you stay tuned for next week, where I'm going to be interviewing another wedding professional. Thanks for listening and have a great day.
Thanks all. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Wedding Songs Podcast. Never miss a future episode. Subscribe today to our podcast. Follow us on Facebook at My Wedding Songs and send us a message about playlists you would like covered.